so for the first 4 examples, we're combining like terms. So on number 1, we are going to be adding, there's a parenthesis in between them, and we're going to be adding like terms. So 20x squared matches with negative 19x squared. They both have an x squared. You may use your calculators as much as you want. So 20 plus negative 19 is what? 1. And you put the x squared with it. Remember, the 1 is optional. Some people like to do it, some people don't. All right, so x squared. Then if you would like to mark those out, we're done with those two. 15x matches with 17x, and we are adding 15 plus 17, 32. And what do you have to write beside 32? An x. Okay. Then we're done with those two, so we can mark those out. And 13 adds with 5, which gives you 18. Okay? And that's your answer for number 1. Okay? All right, anybody need more time? Okay, number 2, we are also adding, this one gets a little tricky. What matches with 9x to the 6? Nothing. Does anything else have an x to the 6? No. Very good. You bring it down. 9x to the 6 has nothing that matches with it, so we bring it down. All right, I'm going to cross it out. I'm done with that. What matches with negative 4x to the 5th? Okay. Once again, we are adding negative 4 plus 10. 6. X to the 5th. You have to write x to the 5th next to that. What matches with negative 15x to the 4th? Nothing. So you drop it down. And does anything match with 14? No. So you drop it down. Okay?
Wait, so what did you do with the 15?
Nothing. I dropped it down. Okay? Questions?
I wasn't calling you that, bro.
No, I know, I'm just saying.
All right, number 3. Number 3.
Put 17 minus 6.
Hold on.
What?
On number 3, there is a minus sign between them. Some of y'all had a teacher last year who said this. Keep, change. Okay? You keep the first one the same. You're going to change the minus to a plus, but when you do that, everything to the right also changes. Everything to the right. So I make the middle become a plus. 6 was negative, and now it becomes a positive. 5 was negative, it becomes a positive. And 18 was negative, it becomes a positive. So keep, change. If there's a minus in the middle, we're going to change it. Okay, but when we change the minus, we have to change everything to the right as well. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing. 17x squared matches with 6x squared. And it's now adding. 17 plus 6 is 23, and you put an x squared with it. 7xy matches with
5xy.
And is 5 positive or negative? Positive. So positive 7 plus positive 5 is 12. And you put an xy with it. And negative 14y and plus 18 is 4y. Okay? All right. That is your answer on that one. Okay? All right. Number 4, what do you notice is in the middle? A minus sign. So the first thing we're going to do is change it to a plus, but then everything to the right. And here's where people make a mistake. You start with the 15. 15 was what to start with? But now I'm going to add in a little negative with the 15. You change everything to the right. So 15 becomes negative. 4 was positive. It also becomes negative. And I just write it like that because it's hard to make a plus sign into a minus, but do it however you want. Now 1 had a minus. That one becomes a plus. Okay, that one becomes a plus. All right, what matches with negative 18x squared? Very good. And y'all said it right. Y'all said it was negative 15, which is correct. So in your calculator, you would type in negative 18 plus negative 15. Okay? And I have to put x squared beside of it. Okay? All right. Then next, careful. It's 0. 4x and negative 4 do what with each other? Cancel each other out. You don't write anything for those because it's 4 plus negative 4 is 0. You don't write anything. You do not write an x. Don't write an x. You write nothing. Then I'm going to do negative 16 plus 1, negative 15. Okay? All right, that's your answer. All right, on number 5, what are we doing? What's that? Very good. We're going to distribute, and when you distribute, do you multiply or add? You multiply. Okay? When you distribute, you multiply. So the first thing we're going to multiply, bless you. The first thing we're going to multiply is 3 times 4. 3 times 4 is 12. And I call this the mama rule. When you're multiplying, you add your exponents. When you're multiplying, you add the exponents. So 3 times 4 is 12. But then what do I have to do with 2 and 3? Add them, which gives you x to the 5th. Okay? Again, you should have learned that in Math 1. So you multiply the 3 and the 4, the coefficients, and you add the exponents. Okay, remember we got to keep distributing. 3 times negative 5, negative 15. 3 times negative 5. What do I need to put with this x right here? A 1. Right here. This one didn't have anything, so you put a 1. And then what am I going to do with this 2 and that 1? Add them, which gives you x to the 3rd. And then the 3 goes all the way to the last one. 3 times 10, 30. And 10 doesn't have an x with it, so you just kind of drop down the x squared. That was out in front. It just kind of drops down beside of it, and that's your answer. Okay. All right. Number 6. You learned 2 different ways to do it depending on who your teacher was. I'm going to do 2 different ways. One way is the box. 3x goes here, negative y. So 3x here, negative y there. And then x is here and 5y is there. Some of y'all last year learned FOIL, where you did that one, that one, that one, that one. If you like FOIL better, you can try that and see if you get the right answer. I'm going to do the box, okay? All right, so if you have no idea what I'm talking about, you need to copy this box down right now. If you don't know what's going on, you need to copy down this box, okay? All right, so when you do the box method, this is x to the first, and that's x to the first. We're multiplying these, which gives me 3x to the second. You add your little numbers, 3x to the second. Here, this is a 1, and that's a negative 1. If you want to put those in there to help you, 1 times negative 1 is negative 1, and then you just write x, y. We don't add the little numbers on this one because they're different letters. So it's just x and y go next to each other. All right, in this box, what do you think we're multiplying? Good, 3 and 5, which is 15, and they're different letters, so x, y. You put them in alphabetical order. All right, what am I multiplying in this box? Okay, so negative 1 and 5 is negative 5, and they're both y, so I need to add the little numbers. Okay, remember that your last step is to add the diagonal. And I always think about the middle being a plus sign to help me remember what to do in the middle. All right, so my answer, 3x squared, that was in the first box. What did I say I was doing with these two? Adding 15 plus negative 1, 14, put the xy with it, and then you just write this last box. If you have trouble with these, I will make you use the box method. So if you are foiling This way's a little harder, but some people were taught it. You do that one, so that gives you 3x squared. Then you multiply 3x times 5y, which is 15xy. And then you do the middle ones, negative xy. And then you do the last ones, negative 5y squared. Okay? And then those two go together. So it's 3x squared, 15 minus 1 is 14, minus 5y squared. Okay? I'll be doing the box method in this class. Okay? All right, let's do number 7. What does it mean to have a square on something in math? It's multiplied by itself. So here's what I'm going to make you do in this class. I want you to write x squared plus 5y. It makes this little 2 disappear. It makes the little 2 disappear because you're writing it twice, which is what that means to do. That little 2 on the outside means to write it twice. X squared plus 5y, x squared plus 5y. Okay? Yep, you do the box or foil. If you want to foil it, you can and see if you get the right answer. I'm going to be doing the box. It is easier. Okay? So I'm going to write x squared and 5y. What do I write down the side?
X squared 5y.
Good. Okay? All right, so in this first box, you're multiplying. So, yep, 1 times 1 is 1, and x to the 4th. You add them. You add the little numbers when you're multiplying. That's what we're doing right now, multiplying. And then we've got 1 times 5 is 5. How do you think I would write the next stuff? X to the y. Yep, your x squared comes over, and your y drops down. All right, and same thing here. 5 times 1 is 5. Drop down your x squared. Bring your y over.
Why does it drop down?
Because there's no x right here.
So why was it squared?
Because it was already squared.
Oh, so you keep that.
Yep. All right, what are we multiplying in this last box? 5 times 5 is 25. What else goes with that? Y to the second. Okay. All right, so your answer, these two are going to have to get added. Remember, think about that cross in the middle as a plus sign. So you write this first box, x to the 4th, that's part of your answer. Then you're adding these, which is 10x to the, When you're adding, you absolutely do not disturb the exponents, okay? So when you're adding, you don't disturb the exponent. So 5 plus 5 is 10, and you keep the exponents the same, x squared and y, when you're adding, okay? All right, what goes last? 25y to the second. Okay. Okay. How many times do you think we have to write this one?
3 times.
We got to write this one 3 times. They've already written it once. So it's going to be a total of 3 times. 1, 2, 3, because there was a 3 on the outside. So you write it 3 times. Okay, I'm going to cover one of them up, and we're going to do this exactly like we've been doing the other one. So cover one of them up. Let's do the first 2. Let me draw my box. 3x and negative 2. 3x and negative 2. All right, 3x times 3x? Close. Good, 9x squared. 9x squared, because there's a 1 and a 1. All right, what about this next box? X. Okay. What about this box? And the last box? Positive 4, very good. Positive 4, okay? Uh-huh.
So you use the number on the side, like 1 times 3.
Yep, so in this box it's the -2 and the 3. And then this last box is the -2 and the -2.
That's what I get confused.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to write 9x squared. That came from that first box, 9x squared. Good, because you have to add these two. You got to add your diagonal, which gives you -12x plus 4. Okay? All right, so I want to make sure everybody understands what we're about to do next. I did the first 2 parentheses. I've done that one and that one. Check and check. Have I done anything with this last parenthesis? So here's how I'm going to do this. This is going to become the top of my box. So I have 1, 2, 3 columns. And then, have I done anything with this parenthesis yet? I'm putting it on the side, 3x and -2. This last parenthesis, I'm now going to multiply it by. So this was my answer, and I have to multiply it one more time. Okay? You can make your boxes as big or small as you need them to. So 3 times 9, x to the third. Very good, because you're adding your little numbers. 3 times -12. You can use a calculator. Good. X to the second. Okay. 4 times 12x. What about this one? -2 times times 9, -18x squared. -2 times -12, 24x. And then -2 times -8. Yeah, -8. Okay. Your diagonals are the ones that you have to add. Your diagonals are the ones you have to add. So my final answer, 27x cubed. So that was this first box, 27x cubed. Then you're adding these two. So in your calculator, -18 plus -36, -54x to the second. All right, we did -18 plus -36. So -54x to the second. Okay. Then we have to do 24 plus 12, which is 36. What do you put beside of that? X. And what goes last? -8. Okay, that's your answer. That's a doozy. All right, one more for now. Number 9, what are we doing on 9? Dividing. Remember when Nintendo made a DS? Okay? So this is how I remember it. Dividing means you subtract your little numbers. DS rule. When you divide, you subtract your little numbers. So I'm dividing all of these by 3x. I'm dividing all of those by 3x. And what number can I put with this x right here? A 1. Okay, and put a 1. So 15 divided by 3, 5, and I'm subtracting the 5 and the 1. You subtract the exponents. 5 minus 1 is 4. Okay. 9 divided by 3, x to the second. -3 divided by 3, -1. 1 minus 1 is, so you wouldn't write that part of it. You wouldn't write x to the 0. Okay. So this is your answer. Okay, that is your answer. All right, what's your question?